Hi everyone, it's Rusty here again, and I'm making this recording on December 19th. And you know what that means? It's time to think about getting Christmas gifts. So if you're like me, you're really struggling to figure out what to buy for your favorite backpacker. Well, most non-hikers don't have a clue of what to get a backpacker. My wife and daughter are actually exceptions. They do a pretty good job of getting me things. But instead of offering you gift ideas, I'm going to offer you anti-gift ideas. The things to watch out for and the things to avoid when you're buying something for your favorite hiker. Stay tuned. So before I get started with my top 5 non-gift ideas, here's some tips. First of all, don't go on the web and search for best gifts for backpackers. I did that and it came up with sites that had the 10, the 20, the 30, the 100 best gifts for your favorite backpacker. And I was stunned by the utter uselessness and impracticality of what they were offering. Next tip, remember REI, EMS, Bass Shops, Dick's Sporting Goods gift cards. It's a convenient way to take money that's perfectly good anywhere and make it so that it's only good at one place. But it will get your backpacker out of his chair in the winter and out to the store so he can buy what he wants. Third tip, sneak into your backpacker's equipment closet and look for the consumables that he or she is using. And by consumables, I mean any prepackaged food they might have there, any kind of fuels for cooking, see what they use, because they're always going to need more. You just buy a replacement fuel container and they'll get to it eventually. The number one no is prepackaged first aid kits. I saw a few of them online. I looked at their contents and it's like, this is just, some of the stuff is obviously useful. It's going to have Band-Aids in it, that sort of thing. But most of it is just dead weight that the backpacker would be carrying with them. First aid kits are highly personalized. My philosophy on first aid kits is their purpose is to stop small problems from becoming big problems. You're not going to treat a broken bone with something out of your first aid kit. You could bring in along something that would do that, but the weight trade-off is it's just not worth it, especially on the Appalachian Trail where getting help is probably relatively easy. No number 2 is single function items, most single function items. Specialty items, like, oh, wouldn't it be great if you could make waffles out on the trail? Not really. I mean, it would be great if you could, but you don't want to carry a portable waffle maker that somehow is set up for use with a camp stove, backpacking stove. You're just not going to be able to use it. The backpacker just couldn't use such a thing. Now, an example of a very light single function item was a coffee strainer that my son got me. It's very small, fits in the pack, doesn't weigh much, and you just put in the coffee filter and some grounds and pour hot water over it. Something like that is fine. But these specialty items, oh, wouldn't they love to do this? No, backpackers are very practical people. We have to be, especially when it comes to how much weight we're carrying. No, number 3, guidebooks meant to be brought on the trail. It's just not worth the wait for your average backpacker. All the information you could need is available on an app on the phone. I use Far Out. There are others, but Far Out gives me all the information that I need. Now, a map, a backup map, I do bring those on occasion with me, and that is a useful thing to bring, but that's just, one piece of paper as opposed to a book full of paper. So guidebooks are passé. They're not really practical out on the trail anymore. Number 4, anything in glass containers. Glass containers are heavy. So unless it's some kind of liquid item that you can then put into some lighter plastic and bring along, such as a liquid soap or Germ-X or something like that, where you can put it into a smaller plastic container and it's basically a consumable, just don't buy anything that's going to be stored in glass. Low calorie foods is number 5. And by that, I mean, no backpacker is dieting, at least on a restricted calorie diet while they're out there. We need high calorie foods, and that means high calorie dense foods. The most calorie dense foods typically available that qualify as real food are like peanut butters, nut butters, that sort of thing. Now, I actually have a whole spreadsheet, and I'll try putting in the description for this video a list of the most calorie dense foods, from top to bottom, from most dense to least dense. And you'd be surprised. A lot of these power bar sorts of things, Cliff bars, which I call goat gaggers anyway. I mean, it's like they're really not all that calorie dense, and they don't actually taste all that good. I mean, I suppose you could eat one of them, or if you were starving, you might eat one, but having more than one in a day is just, you've got to have a more iron constitution than I have. Let's just put it that way. So those are the top 5 no's for your backpacker.